Hi guys, it's Teresa here with Larkin Design, and I am with a Throwback Thursday layout from my 2014 Project Life album. Today I'm working with products from the Kindred Memory Pocket Monthly Kit. I'm particularly working with the Sahlin Studio add-on for this month. And so those are the journaling cards that I have in my pockets already, along with my photos. And I'm also just sort of going through some of the printables that were included. Some of them I printed just on white cardstock, and some of them I printed on vellum. And the layout that I'm working with is from the pumpkin patch, our visit to the pumpkin patch in 2014. And so this is one of our last visits to the pumpkin patch. My husband is severely allergic to them, and so that day he stayed kind of far away or in the car for some of it. So we don't really go to the pumpkin patch anymore. It's something that he's developed over the years, and that's just gotten progressively worse. But I do have these pictures here, and so I did want to get them in our album and include them. One of my favorite things about fall and about the pumpkin patch is the lighting that happens when the sun shifts into the fall season. And so I want to make a note here about this card real quick while it's here on the screen. I stamped the original image, and it just didn't really work out, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with it. So I end up embellishing the card, and then I'm going to set it aside, and you'll see me reach for it again later on in the end, and I'll figure out something better to do with it later. Sometimes I do that just to keep moving forward, just to keep momentum. And that's cool, you know. Come back, go if you reach a stumbling point or a stopping point with a card, go to another card and then come back to it later when you're done and you have sort of fresh eyes. And, you know, the first few, I don't know, I'd say the first 15 minutes or so that I'm working on a layout, it takes me that time to sort of figure out what I'm doing. To get a feel for the photos, to get a feel for these products. I'm still sort of getting used to working with the Sahlin Studio add-ons. This is only the second one that I've done, and I love them. Oh my goodness, I think they're so pretty. Like, I loved every one of these cards and wanted to just put cards in my layout. But it does take me a minute to get into the layout. So I'm really excited about this card that I'm stamping on right here. It's a washi tape card, and you guys have seen me. I like to put washi tape across my cards, the thin washi, to create lines. And so Krista did that when she designed that card, and then I used it to stamp some of my sentiments with. Now, the stamp set that I'm using, this one right here is from Carrie Bradford. It's the Ashland alphabet. I ended up not using it. And the other stamp set that I'm working with is from the October Gossamer Blue Life Pages kit. You see me use that a couple of times this month. I tend to keep my kit products out on my desk so that I can use them off and on throughout the whole month on different layouts and get more use out of them that way. So that's the stamp set that I decided to use for this layout. Let's see if I want to, just trying to think if I want to talk about this card. Now the funny thing is that this is a card talking about home, and we're not really at home. We're at the pumpkin patch. But we are at home in a sense that we're together, and this is a pumpkin patch that's really close by our house, and so we are at home just simply because we're together. And so don't be afraid to use your cards. Even if it says home, you don't have to be at home. I think that, I sort of was thinking about that saying, home is where your heart is, right? And wherever our kids are is going to be home for me. Wherever I'm with people that I love is going to be home for me. So the left-hand side is completed, and I'm going to move over here to the right-hand side. Now, this card I created. There are pattern papers available with this kit, but I wanted to do a lighter, sort of almost pink. It didn't turn out as pink as I saw on my screen before I printed it out, and that's okay. I wanted a little more pink in there, sort of because of the flowers that are in the top right-hand corner. And I think it coordinates. It coordinates anyway. You could use any and all sorts of shades of purple on this layout. And by the way, I just think that the purples in this kit are beautiful. There's just so much to love about this kit. So I created that layout on a purple canvas with the floral elements that were part of the digital kit. Pretty easy. And then I put the week number on that card. So that becomes the date card and a title card all in one. And then, so I wanted to just talk about some of the photos that I chose. And I sort of have a little bit of a formula for when I'm photographing events like this. Normally I try to get photos of each one of the kids individually. That didn't happen this day, for one, because of Alan, and I didn't want to stay too long and risk him getting really sick. So I did not get all the kids individually at this event, but I did get a couple of them all together, right? So I chose one that showed them all together. I also selected one of the photos of just the scenery, all the pumpkins and all the flowers that they had for sale, and the pumpkins themselves. We might not be able to bring pumpkins home, but I can certainly take pictures of them, and I can put pictures of them in the album. So that's typically how I handle that in our Halloween and our fall decorating these days. No pumpkins here. I did buy some flowers that day, so that was fun. And then I also took this picture of the girls that's in the upper corner, or the upper center of the layout. Was pretty cute. They had a cute little moment where they were hugging and hanging out. And so that's sort of how I go about this. A couple of photos of the scenery and where we actually are. A couple of the kids interacting together and just being their silly selves. A couple of them, or one of them, pose together. And that's kind of how I try to encapsulate these event-based layouts like this. I hope that helps, because it can be overwhelming. I think I probably had, I'm trying to remember, I think I had about 170 photos from that day. And so that can be overwhelming. Like, what? I gotta narrow it down to 7 or 6 or 5 or however many you're going to put in there. So how do you prioritize? And that's sort of how I go about doing that. So on this card, I did want to say the wood embellishments that I'm using here, they are from Gossamer Blue from past kits just over the year. That I leave them sitting on my desk so that I have them accessible. And also there's a gold glitter tape that I've used. If I'm not mistaken, that glitter tape came in a Freckled Fawn kit. And then There was a gold glitter alphabet that's American Crafts that I used for the week number. So just so you know where my sources are from. And of course I really like word strips, and so there were quite a few word strips included in the digital elements here. I'm also going to add my date. The date is not going on the date card, and that's fine. You can put that anywhere. But I'm going to put it on this gray card up here. And I'm going to finish up how I want to finish up fixing this, I guess. You know, this is the great thing about artwork. You can always cover up a mistake. So I decided to use the one of the little labels that was included. And I'm going to stamp this sentiment one more time. And that time works out fine. It was a textured cardstock, I think, and the texture just didn't really like the stamp. And then I'm going to add my date. And this layout is pretty much done. If you would like to see more about the layout and hear more about my process, you can check out my blog at larkindesign.squarespace.com. And I do hope that you will like and comment and subscribe to my channel so that you can keep up to date with all the fun things that are happening around here. And once again, just thank you for watching, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.